From first steps to world stage, every leader has a Blac moment.
People do think that extroverted people don't have issues with cameras.
Yeah.
And because we would stand in front of any audience and speak,
Yeah.
but then the cameras start rolling and
I kind of feel like it's just a feeling that you feel probably that there's a consequence to if you make a mistake or if something goes wrong, and it adds pressure, even though there might not be any consequences, but it's just like this natural instinct.
It's
probably
true.
That's why.
It's true. When people just sit in positions like this, in this chair, there's that they come with their positions, Dr. D's, with a PhD and stuff like that. All of those positions that I think society have kind of told us that this is what makes us worthy.
Yeah.
And for me, I come from a place where it's that you are worthy. You are just doing something valuable.
Yeah.
You are worthy even if you don't do that.
Yeah.
But it's so beautiful that from your place of worth, you're bringing something valuable to the society.
Yeah.
Go back to that little girl. And if it's comfortable for you,
oh yeah,
I would want you to just close your eyes and go back to the 6, 7, 8, 9. Anyone that comes to you, 15-year-old you, that girl, and reach back to her. And by the time you open your eyes, I want you to bring her back to us. Tell us the kind of girl she was, what she loved, the things that kind of made her happy, the things that made her smile. What are the fears? What are the struggles that she had? I want to hear that.
Well, I think you just pointing or asking this question, the memories were just coming back. So I'll just dive into it without closing my eyes.
Okay.
So I think I can remember key moments in my life when I was younger. I've always been termed as a difficult person by most people. And I think when people made that comment, they never made it with any explanation. So even if in a situation where they feel you are being difficult, they don't point what action that you have probably acted on that makes you difficult. So it's been a term that I've been described as since I was young, even now that I'm older, but nobody has ever presented me with the fact of why am I difficult. And I think sometimes I'm too factual, and I'm the kind of person that would only take feedback to, make it personal when you make a point. So I think even though I have been described as difficult, and at that time I didn't even have this level of understanding that I do today, I never saw that comment to be a negative comment. I rather interpreted that as you just don't get it. And I think one of the things I'm most grateful about myself is my unconscious self acting in the way my adult self wanted it to act, without even me being knowing why I was doing what I was doing. So for me, most people say Rashida is very difficult. Rashida, but I'm you have never presented the fact, because I'm being difficult when I'm holding you accountable. I'm being difficult when I'm challenging your opinion. But is that really difficult? It's not. So I think because of that, I didn't even know at that time when I was younger. I still never took it to heart. But I think that naturally what it rather does is it's rather tries to force you to hold things in, because you know why they are saying you're difficult. Not that you agree with them, But to avoid having to sometimes hear that, because it doesn't go anywhere, you rather internalize that. So then in a conversation, if you have an opinion that's opposite to what somebody's saying, you would naturally want to rather keep it to yourself than to say that. And it had not been a helpful place to be in, because then everybody assumes you are like them or you share the same perspectives. And sometimes the beliefs and perspectives of people are not the right thing. And I think as an adult, I have come to learn sometimes what the consequences of that is, because I'm the kind of person, I have a dad. I always say, this is how I describe my dad. My dad is a kind of father that would, I say this and I laugh, and I don't mean this in a literal sense. I always say, if you're cutting your arm, he would watch you cut your arm. Like, if my dad has to say my full name, if his life depended on it, I'm sure he would die, even though I bear his name. So like, yeah, he knows my name is Rashida, and he knows I bear his last name, but he can't put two and two together on the first try to say this is her full name. That's, my friend would say, like, very nonchalant. And I think in African society, we have a lot of dads like that who are very nonchalant. And I think we have made it very normal to have dads who are very nonchalant about their kids. And so if a dad doesn't know who their kids, friends are, it's normal. And I think, unfortunately, for someone like me, the Rashida who was younger, I was too sensitive. Because I think most people probably are not as sensitive as I was. And most people tend to generally want to accept what the societal norm is, because it feels more comfortable. But for someone like me, that is like, I'm the rule breaker. It's like, for me, if you want to convince me otherwise, come and let's talk and have, that kind of conversation, and let me see where you're coming from. And of course, these things are not things people can talk to you about because they know it's not good, but it's just something that makes them more comfortable not to talk about. So I think for me, having that type of a, upbringing, it kind of like shaped, because it's like, why is my father not like this? Even though so it's like, when I sometimes want to speak about it, either to my mom or to like other people, again, you get a 10, you are being difficult. But the thing is, I sensed that it wasn't right, even though, again, at that time when I was younger, I didn't have the words or the understanding to even point out, like, I'm saying the thing, but it's like, and I know it's not right, but I don't even understand to what extent it's not right. And I think probably that's what made me feel more neglected as a child, especially when it comes to like my parent. And of course, because of where my dad was, then of course my mom also had to endure that as well as from my husband. And naturally, parents would take out that frustration on the kids. So I'm the kind of child that in our house, it's when the door opens, you know who is opening the door, and then like how to act, that kind of a thing. I think growing up, that is the experience that unconsciously was shaping me to make me very sensitive. And I always say, I like to see the positive and negative and use it to my advantage when I can. And I think that is what, if we could all learn to do, would be great for us, instead of sometimes wallowing in what our negatives are. I like my dad, even though we've had that, we are not really close and anything. But I always say, as an adult, I like the fact that his nonchalance has grown into my adulthood, because he's not the kind of person that would care what you're studying. He's not the kind of person that would care who you have as friends. And I was having this conversation with a friend, and I said, sometimes people who are from underprivileged homes don't know the advantages of being underprivileged, because your parents don't even have any expectations of you. If you speak to people who are from well-privileged homes, you don't even get to dream for yourself. You are here to continue a legacy your father has created. So if you are born into a family of lawyers, you are expected to probably be a lawyer. And that is the burden they have to also bear for being born in the homes that they are born in. So you, the poor person, that's your burden, to probably not have financial, But I mean, most people from under finance or underprivileged homes probably have seen their parents even more than some other people. But I think that generally, when it comes to like parenting and the negative experiences we've had, some of them are cut across. But the point being that that attitude of my dad helps me today, because he wouldn't be the person that would want to dictate what you should study. He wouldn't be the person that would dictate who should be your friend. And I think without that pressure, for somebody like me that loves to explore, I was never restricted because that became an advantage for me. So I would study what I want to study. And again, these are the things that shaped me. Now, key things that I would always remember, the things that really shifted for me. My first book I ever read, like the first impactful book I read, was called, it's a series, Goosebumps. And we had a neighbor, they were actually Nigerians.
Yeah.
And the eldest, her name was Precious. She said, "Oh, I have this book, I think you're going to love it." Even though she didn't know I didn't even know I liked reading.
Yeah.
And then she climbed the wall. We used to always climb the wall and go to their house, and they'll do the same with us. And they climbed the wall, and she was like, "Oh, have this book and read it." And I loved it. Because like I'm somebody, I like suspense, I like thriller. Like that's the things that makes me excited. So that was a very good book to read at the time. And it sparked my interest in reading. Now, fortunately, at the right time, right place, it was around the time I was going to junior high school, and we had this teacher called Miss Francisca Nyamelegbe. I will always remember her. She was such a very, those teachers that are very strict, those female teachers that are like to the T, very strict. So she started this routine with our class where every week on Friday, you were supposed to go to there was a public library close to our school. You were supposed to go to the library and register, and then every week you go there, Friday, get a book. You read it during the weekend, and on Monday, everybody has a special exercise book. You write down the blurb or like the summary, no, not the blurb, the summary of it in the exercise book and put it on her table. And if you don't do it, you'll be punished. Of course, everybody hated it, right? Everybody hated it. And I mean, I hated it in the beginning because I think anything that feels like there's a consequence to it if you don't do it, it's like feels very burdensome. But I think it sparked my interest in reading. And I think by doing it continuously, because I was forced to, I naturally realized that it was something I loved. Now, the reason why this experience really shaped me was I think we sometimes underestimate the importance of how the society or the community that you're exposed to can shape how you see the world. And I mean, like everybody else, I was only experiencing my world through my school, my house, my neighborhood. But through the books, I realized there was a whole world out there that I probably would have never gotten access to at that age. To know there are people that have certain lives that I would probably not have even thought to even dream to have. There are people that have like certain types of parents that would like, oh, this is what healthy parenting like looks like. There are people that, you know, like validate certain things like through books. I got to have the experience that I wouldn't have naturally had. And again, fortunately at the time too, I developed movies, like love for movies. And I used to love watching a lot of Hollywood movies. And again, I think that exposure, it's made me realize that like there is more to the world than my community. There is more to the world than, you know, my world. And I think those are the things that shaped me. Of course, I've met other people along the lines that have, you know, contributed to it. But I think this is one very like changing part of my upbringing that made like the most impact to make me who I am today.
As I was just listening to you, there are several stuff that kept just jumping out to me within the conversations. There are a lot of things that I feel like I could relate to because your story kind of felt really similar to mine. And if you read my book, Familiar Stranger, I spoke about a lot of things around like parenting.
Yeah.
I spoke about the role my dad, my mom played, and my dad kind of like had like this kind of similar, you know,
Nonchalant attitude,
exactly, just like yours. I see the aspect of these traumas and the way some of us get to ride on this trauma and use it to become like, should I say, this active member of the society that we are able to like go out there and do stuff and make stuff happen and things like that. But there's a wound, there's a hole, there's something in there that we have not had the chance to breathe, to take a pause, to stop, reflect, and heal. My question to you is, what kind of work are you doing right now to be able to heal from those traumas so you don't pass it down unconsciously? Because that's kind of like the craziest part that I actually got exposed to.
So, yeah.
Recognizing those traumas, because see, a lot of us don't even know that we carry a lot of trauma.
Yeah.
That even the things that people admire us for are as a result of those particular traumas.
Yeah.
Like maybe our people pleasing kind of attitude, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So how are you doing the work on yourself so that you don't pass it down to the next generation?
So I think for me, as I said, the kind of parents I had, I think my mom, was kind of decent, but I think, as an adult, I realized she probably caused more harm than my dad, because my dad probably was never even around. I don't think I've ever lived with my dad continuously for like a year before. My mom was the one that probably, transferred more of the trauma, because she's the one we spend the most time with, and I think naturally she's the one you would gravitate towards too, because she's your mom, because kids normally gravitate towards the mom because they are being raised by her. I think for me, it was even realizing that I even had a trauma in the first place, because especially when you have unconsciously channeled the trauma to be something positive, who even would say it's a trauma? You would just explain it as, oh, but today it has what has made me who I am.
Right?
But
that is the hardest part of it.
You don't see the negative effect of it.
Yeah.
So for me, the negative effect was like, I had a very short temper. Like, I would easily lash out to people. Because like, you're frustrated, there's a frustration that is built in you, and you lash out to people. It's, for me, one of the trauma things I naturally picked up was just understanding that we don't see things the same way, and showing people the empathy even from that perspective. Because I think, and that's the thing, like you enact your trauma on other people without even realizing you are doing to others what has been done to you. So like you can name what was done to you, but sometimes when you are doing it to people, it's like that thing where you think a victim can be a perpetrator. So because you are a victim of something, that means when you do it, you are not a perpetrator. But it doesn't work that way. So it would be something like, for my house, it's like, you're supposed to do this, do it. You don't get to question it. And again, like the previous conversation we were having, parents don't take the time to explain things to you. So you are expected to know. So I think that naturally, as an adult, when I work with people, it was like that. Like, I expect you to know. So if I know, you should know. And that's the thing. It's the subtle things that shapes how people see you, but it's making so much, like, it's coming from that place of trauma that you don't even realize. So I think it's the biggest work is like even understanding what the trauma is. And I think many people are not willing to even sit with the idea that you have trauma, because even with my own siblings that have had a similar experience, it's like when I say these things out loud, it's like I'm perceived as, again, the difficult person and the bad person. It's like, why are you pointing them out to be bad people?
The black sheep of the family.
The black sheep, exactly. But I'm like, what they're doing is not healthy. You know it, I know it. We won't say we can't give them grace, because we also don't know. They didn't know better. They also had their own trauma. Yeah. But it still doesn't mean that two things can be true at the same time, right? Yeah. So I think one of the things that I have worked on the most has been to sit with the shame that sometimes comes with the part of you that you would bury. Because sometimes it's very shameful, And the thing is that it comes from the experience you've had with parents where you are shamed for not knowing things. You are shamed for behaving a certain way. So, coming from most homes, like in African homes, you are shamed for so many things that you're not even supposed to be ashamed about. Mm-hmm. You're ashamed if you talk loudly. You're ashamed if you dress a certain way. You're ashamed if, you want something from your parent. Mm-hmm. So your parent's inability to give you that thing would then shame you, the child. I mean, again, they're not even consciously doing it. And I think, I always say I prefer evil people who know they are evil, because at least they know. But when people do bad and they are blinded by their intention, I think it causes the most harm, because the person has protected themselves with their intention, and so are not willing to even sit with the idea that intention, regardless, caused the harm. And I think it's one of the most difficult things to understand, that you wouldn't even get closure for it. Because it's like, it's something that, your parents wouldn't even understand, because they will tell you, but your life has been easy. So it's like, they can't even sit with any idea that would criticize their sense of self, that they have not been that great of parent. And I think it also comes down to, as a child or even as an adult, that inner child of you that still wants that familiar relation. You want to feel that sense of belonging, that parental love. But you also are the kind of person that knows you can't fake it because you see too much to go back to play the facade. So it's like you either have to go along and play the facade with everybody else and pretend you don't see it and pretend everything is okay when nothing is okay, or you have to distance yourself. But either way, you would never have that, which is a person's, need to, And I think for me, I'm an eldest daughter, and I mean, typical of most Ghanaian homes, as an eldest daughter, you would naturally be expected to be the one to step up as a parent. And it's such a frustrating thing, because I'm like, you can't do that for your child, but you expect me to do that for your child. And I always say, like, I understand that sometimes a sibling could be in a position where they can help, but you don't go about it in a way that feels it is your responsibility. Hence, if you can't do it, I need to shame you because you are a bad person. So I think for me, one of the biggest shame I have is asking people for help. I think asking people for help seems like I'm being vulnerable to you. And I come from a home where my dad was kind of like financially very okay, but it didn't reflect to us because, again, he's nonchalant. So your needs are not going to be met financially, emotionally, psychologically, nothing. And when you are put in that situation where people perceive you as you are this, you are actually not like that. So like, let's say an example, if I'm hungry and I go to a relative and say, I'm hungry, they're going to tell you, but your father is this person, how can you not eat? But again, I think it's the younger 5-year-old me that is experiencing this, that doesn't even yet have a grasp of even understanding the level of, severity of situations like this. So I think for me, I had to learn how to deal with two worlds at the same time, which is the world where the world sees me a certain way, which is the child of this person, hence you have everything in the world and you are okay, and the reality of my life, which is that I didn't have any of that. And I always say, I always tell people, I'm like, the person who is even more pitiful than a poor person is somebody who was born to rich parents, but they don't get the privileges that comes with being born a rich person. Because when you're born as an underprivileged poor person, people can extend empathy. People grasp your situation. So when somebody wants to do something for you, like, they don't need to.
They know that, okay, this is a dry land, we put water here.
Exactly.
But then it's like, guy, you're coming out of an ocean, you're telling me to give you my little water?
Yeah. But then, so you see, from us, for people like us, to do that, to get to that level of understanding, is to be vulnerable and to share certain things that happen in your house that you might not feel safe or you even feel ashamed to even talk about. So you are now put in that situation where you can't even go for the help when you need it, because like, they think you have it more than them, but they have it more than you. You know, I have this funny story. My best friend probably doesn't even know. If he listens to this podcast, I'm sure he'll be very shocked. When we're in high school, he had a history book, and I never had that history book. And I couldn't imagine. I'm like, why don't I have it? And why don't I have it because I'm jealous. I'm like, in the society, I'm considered to be well-to-do than you. So why do you have it? And so my question is, like, how are your parents even able to get it to you? Like, because my parents' excuse is, we don't have money, even though I know they did. But they just didn't care enough to do it. But this is somebody who is perceived to be, you don't have it. So I'm like, what is different for you, for your parents who don't have it, to do that? So then again, I came to understand that there are people who would sacrifice whether they have it or they don't have it. And it's what makes the difference. And I think learning, for me, the biggest trauma I have to learn how to work on is being vulnerable with people, to ask people for help. Because I am always shamed, or I have been shamed for having needs. So like, it starts when you are young. You are shamed if you want to eat. You eat too much. But the thing is that it's the normal eating habit of a child. You want a book. You always ask for things. So you're shamed for it. And unconsciously, it's built into you to, and especially when you have younger siblings and your parents expect you to step up for them. You would expect that the parent would make sure they are there for you, so your siblings can be there for you. Like, your parents will be there for you, so you can be there for your siblings. But no, they expect your siblings, you to be there for your siblings, but they won't be there for you.
For you.
So then it's like now you are dealing with your own problems, your own emotions, your own everything, and then you have to deal with exactly. And you're not even allowed to complain. So when you complain, again, you are a difficult person.
Yeah.
Because I think the society generally doesn't even understand the consequences of this. So it's even difficult to have these conversations. And for me, I think one of the forms of abuse that I have become very aware of as a result of like my upbringing, and like that I want to hopefully like take like interest in to advocate for, is emotional abuse.
Yeah.
Because I always say it's the most damaging and the most unaware form of abuse that exists.
Gosh, and it is rooted.
It's rooted.
Rooted, like it has like deep roots here, like crazy roots.
And it's kind of
like they've tied it into our culture and everything. Like it's like the emotional abuse is like coming from every single angle.
Exactly, left, right, center, everywhere. So that's because it's like, how if you tell people this, like, the only abuse people will recognize, like, if you were beaten to like a certain degree, but like people don't get how these things shape. And I think the funny thing is, you when you become aware, you also have now see how they have been shaped by their own versions of emotional abuse they probably endured when they were younger. But for them, they've buried it, and they will not even allow themselves to see it. So it's like, this person even has the same problem you have. It's like blind man living the blind man. Just that one person is at least aware they are blind, And I think sometimes it gets lonely when you're trying to work on these things, because you can't speak to people about it because they don't even get it, And I think sometimes that's why when you have the resources to seek for help where it would be helpful, it's great. And I think I'm learning to overcome that trauma of like, ask for help when you need it. Like, and I've always even feel ashamed when people even do things for me. I don't like favors. I was telling my best friend, I was like, what you don't know is that anytime you do something good for me, I have signed an unconscious contract with you. You don't know it, but I know it.
You kind of want to pay back.
I have to do it for you. So then now when you come to me for something, even when I have to break my back to do it, I can't even say no, even when I know I'm supposed to naturally. And I know you don't even expect, like, you are not even expecting me to do something for you. But you see, that's the thing, it's not about you, it's about me, as I always say. So it's like, I have to learn how, because he always says, I don't expect. I'm like, yeah, I know. But you see, that's the thing, it's not about you. My childhood self will not allow myself. So it's like, yeah, I know what I'm supposed to do. I know what it is. But when it comes to doing it, it's difficult. So I always say, it's like wanting to go on a diet until you're presented with like a very tasteful dessert. Let's see if you can withstand the temptation. So it's not as easy as just knowing. It's like, even, would you be able to? And I think sometimes, especially when you have experienced people being two-faced, like, when you were younger growing up, you don't even know when people are being genuine with you, right? So it's like you think too much to see the picture, but sometimes you overthink. And
I want you to like just clarify, like explain what you mean by people being two-faced.
Oh, people being two-faced. So an example could be, you witness, like, let's say, an auntie. So, we always laugh about this too. So when or even your mom, we always say, when you're going to somebody's house, your mom doesn't like the person. And then they'll tell you, when you go, don't eat anything.
Oh gosh.
And then but then your mom goes and she's smiling, and when they bring the food, they're like, oh, Cornelius, do you want to have some? And you'll be like, no. And your mom, who told you not to eat, will be the one encouraging you, oh, eat. But then you've already been warned. So then, like, you as a child, you are grappling with trying to understand if your mom in that moment now telling you to eat, whether she means it or not, right? So
different information. Like,
so it's like you, the child, are now even trying to understand what she means at that moment. So, even though you've been warned, but the way she's now acting, like, no, go ahead and eat, no, eat. So it's like, you're not even sure that she has changed her mind, and that's why she's saying that. Or so you, the child, have to learn how to deal with situations like that.
And then you eat it,
and you'll be punished.
Yes.
Right? You eat and you'll be punished. And there's also the flip side of where, if you don't eat it, and maybe, let's say, the person serving the food sees through it and be like, oh, why did your mom tell you not to eat? And then because now your mom doesn't want to be so
she's trying to make you be the bad cop, and she's the good cop.
So now if you don't eat it, she'll be like, why didn't you eat it? You should have eaten it. If not, now she's going to think. So it's like, the child is the one that is being forced to have to deal with situations and consequences and their parents, like emotions and actions and all of that. So I think that's a typical example. I would say two-faced. And everybody has had this experience in an African
it's
home,
true.
and we always laugh about it.
Yeah.
But what we don't know is that these things shape us. Because
Exactly.
it means that when you go into the society, you unconsciously don't even know who is being genuine with you, because you have seen this happen over. And I mean, this is not a one-time experience. These are thousands of experiences like this that most of us we've had. So it's like sometimes you don't know. So it's like, can I be vulnerable with this person? Because you have seen, let's say, family gossip where somebody comes and opens up to a family member about something that happened to them, like, you know, and it's something like they were, you could tell it took a lot to open up. And the moment they are gone, it becomes a family gossip. So then it's like, now you know the way you are. So are you going to be vulnerable? You won't. So it's like you can't allow yourself to do that, because you know. And that's, I think, for people who will still do it regardless, most people have not put the 2 and 2 together. So they don't see how connected these things are. But for you that knows that if they do it today, they do it to you.
Exactly.
And you pay attention enough to witness it when they are doing it the 2 fake. Because some people don't pay attention to it, so they probably don't see it. But when you have been paying attention and you've seen it, you know, I can't open up to this person, because if I do, it becomes a family gossip, right? So now, unfortunately, even when you meet healthy people, you still can't do it. And you know, my best friend always say, like you know, I'm like, you see, you don't understand. When I'm speaking to you, you're not speaking to Rashida who is 20-something. You're speaking to Rashida who is 5 years. You're speaking to Rashida who is 6 years. You're speaking to Rashida who is 10 years. And I think sometimes that is where we have to meet people to understand, at a point, certain people's emotion and experiences had to stay stagnant because of certain experiences they had. And now that they are adults, they know, but the thing is that they still haven't gone back to that childhood to even continue where they remain stagnant. So I always find it very interesting when I observe adults in a community. They always have this childish behavior of theirs. I'm like, it's that child in them that never got to grow out of that thing, that remains stagnant, you know, like the emotional outbursts, it's like the tantrum and all of that. They don't. And people always say, oh, but they can't control it. But I'm like, everybody has control, because see the same person who is lashing out at their child, if in front of their boss, no matter what their boss is going to be saying to them, they're going to stay composed. They are going to be very angry, but they are going to know how to hold it in. They are going to, because they know there is consequences if they act that way.
Exactly.
But why can't they transfer the same level of like control,
awareness and control?
Exactly. So that's how you begin to realize that it's not that people just, they don't know. They know. Of course, I can understand that there's still a level of like, you know, blind side there, but I'm like, when people know there are consequences, see how they act. And when there are no consequences, see how they act. That's how you put the 2 and 2 together, and you know that's act. So people know. And again, because it's something people want to bury, they are not even willing to have the conversation to, you know, say. And I think another thing I'm also learning is repair. So I had a rift with my best friend, and I was very distant from him. So he told me, I'm very disappointed you didn't come to me. You should have at least also extended to me like a grace to tell me, okay, you hurt me and this is how you hurt me. But you see, another trauma was, you come from a home where there was no repair.
Exactly.
So when your parents do something bad, the only apology you are getting is the big meat that they'll put on your soup.
Are you going
on
to
your
eat?
rice? Are you going to eat? Or
I bought you Hollandia.
Are you angry?
You know.
So,
and then you have to say no. You can't tell them that you're angry.
And now
too.
we are all wondering why adults don't know how to apologize. Yes, that's why they don't know how to apologize, because nobody showed them how to apologize, you know. So it's like those little, and the funny thing is that these experiences, everybody has had it. Almost everybody you would have a conversation with, it has had it. And I think that's the scary thing about our community. We've normalized too many things that are not supposed to be normal. I think I appreciate the West, because I think there is some form of discernment when it comes to these things. But in our society, you don't even know where to start. You don't. And I am even realizing
this is
how
where we are
scary,
starting, you know,
and I'm
on
glad.
the Black moment.
And I am very glad that we have people like you that are like, I was talking to you about your book. Like, I haven't seen any book like yours, like ever. And I'm definitely getting, all the people I know who have kids, they are going to read this book, because I think I came to a realization that our age mate that we thought were going to be the trauma breakers are going to be passing on another form of trauma, because they don't have what you're talking about in your book, that ability to even understand awareness and to even meet the child at the level of, this is a child, I am the adult, you know. You know, recently I was talking to my mom and I told my mom, if a child is a child and the child is foolish, and you the adult that's supposed to know more, if you act like a child, are you not also foolish? Because you are saying the child doesn't know better, right? So they'll say, keep quiet because you don't know. So why is the adult behaving like the child? Then it means you're all foolish, you know. So you the adult should should be the one that should be held to more accountability because you were expected to. But I feel like in African society, we have this hypocrisy where adults want to benefit where being an adult would benefit. But when it comes to being held accountable as an adult, that one they want to tell the child, so an adult doesn't apologize, it's a child. But an adult is the one that's supposed to apologize. So the child will feel ashamed because I can't imagine an instance where if an adult and a child have, let's say, an altercation and an adult goes to the child and tells the child, hey, Cornelius, I did this and I want to apologize. There is no way that child is not going to apologize back. Because even that show for you to come to the child, you the adult, because it would take something for you to come. That alone, but the adults wouldn't do it. So the child too wouldn't do it. And then now we all move on.
Just because you said this, I'm going to share this particular story. Probably I've shared it with a couple of people, but this is the first time I'll be sharing it on the
I'd
podcast.
love to hear that. I'm curious.
I was around 9 years old and I came back from school because I was in the boarding house and I would only come home for holidays. So I came back from school and back home for holidays. And I was less than 2 days at home. And I think it was just the second day at home. My dad came and he saw that there was one button that was broken on this radio. And he was mad. And there was only one culprit in the house.
Who, you?
It's me. Just like you, I am the black sheep of the family. Like any trouble, it's me. So, my dad came to me and told me that he didn't ask who broke it. It's like, you broke it.
You're already guilty.
And I was like, no, I didn't. And he beats me mercilessly. Like when we talk about beating, like it's not like you just took a cane and just would me 1, 2. He was beating me like all of my back, beat the hell out of me. As in, I'm not kidding. Like, see, I saw hell. And after it all, I kept telling him that I didn't do it. Until at the point I was tired. I was like, see, okay. Then I made up a whole story for him of how I did it, how
even
it
when
broke,
you didn't
and I didn't do it.
Wow.
And then I made up the whole story. And that was the only time he left me. Okay, he finally left me. My mom came back from work and my dad, that was the first thing he said. Look at your son. Your son is just home less than 2 days. You already broke the button on my radio.
Problems.
And my mom was like, the button has been out of the radio for more than a week. Like, he wasn't even at home when the button fell off.
Wow.
That she wanted to actually use it and she saw that the button was off. And then she saw it on the floor. She tried to put it back on it, but the thing couldn't stick.
What did he do?
He started to beat me again for lying to him.
It's funny and it's sad.
He beats me again, even worse than the first one.
So is it like
that I lied?
Yeah. For him to even confront the fact that he was wrong, then he would rather cover it up and rather blame you again. Yeah.
And see, things like this happen on and on again. And then we then come here and ask ourselves that why do we have this kind of leaders that don't care about us?
Yeah.
And we forget that these leaders were children.
It's from our own community
That
they
you
came out
broke.
from.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
We would point to these people and say, oh, this person is bad, this person is bad. But we are refusing to remember that they are a product of our society.
Yeah. You know, one of the things that frustrates me the most is when the parent doesn't believe a child. Because I think it's at that stage where the trust of a child or the world is broken.
Yeah.
Because kids naturally have a love and trust for parents, which just comes naturally. I don't know, by the grace of God. And I think it is up to the parent to know how to handle that trust with care. But unfortunately, most parents break that trust. And I think when they break that trust, it will be very few people would ever find that level of trust. Because people who have had healthy relationship with their parents, even when they are married, that level of trust they have with their parents, it will never be, superseded by what they have with their spouse. Yeah. But you see, when you don't have it like that and it's broken, you will never meet the world with any form of trust. And you know, Ghana, we have this term, we say it's in our national anthem, we say "Pesemin kuminya." That's where it came from, because the trust has been. So everybody's like everybody for
What
himself.
does that mean?
So it means like being selfish, but in a negative sense. So it's like you're all about yourself. It's in our anthem. It goes something like it should prevent us prevent us from being like very selfish people. Yeah. So it's we and you see, that's the thing. The problems in our society, this is where it goes back to. I have this stance that anytime I say now, people laugh. I always say I am no longer for any form of activism in the world. I don't fight for racism. I don't fight against it. I don't fight for equality. I don't fight against it. I don't fight for or against any cause. The only thing I pursue now is my ability as a human being to meet another person as a human being. Because I think that is where we've gotten the picture wrong. People are so focused on a big structural change when it just starts from the people who are close to you and the one-on-one. So you're talking about racism.
Can you hold on that? Like, yo, don't glide through that. I need you to breathe on that and recook that sauce. I want you to cook it again. Like, rewind a little and cook that again.
Yeah.
I need anybody listening to this to hear that clearly.
So I said, and I repeat, I think that people are overly obsessed and care too much about structural changes when we should be rather focused on individual change and how we, interact and impact the world and the people around us. Because I think that people sometimes forget that nobody was born an adult. And, we always think that somebody is good and somebody is bad. Today I was watching a movie and the guy in the movie said, don't think you're a good person just because you never have to choose. And it was such a shifting, because the person he said this to was so against that statement when he said it. But in the movie, the person at the point when their family was harmed was forced to have to break a serious rule to save a loved one. And the person remembered that statement. Don't think that you are good because you've never had to choose. So it's like sometimes we people too, we also obsessed thinking that we have an identity that we are good people or this person is bad. And for me, I always tell my friend, like, I'm not a good person. Don't ever tell I'm not good. Like, if you see me doing charity, it doesn't mean I'm a good person. I am just performing an act that I think should be performed. When we become very overly obsessed with being tagged as a good person or a bad person, I think that's where sometimes we get it wrong, because now it becomes more performative than to genuinely do the thing, to really just meet a person as a person to a person, and that is where sometimes I see the biggest problem. And like this statement I made, like, we are so overly obsessed with the structures. I always, when people complain about the structures, they complain about racism, they complain police reform, like if it's in the US, I always say, you, where you're sitting, what can you do about it? And they'll be like, I can't do anything about it. And I'm like, exactly my point. Why are you exhausting yourself on the thing you don't have the power to change? Why don't you rather, because I'm like, the person, for instance, on the subject of racism, the person whose child is probably, performing a racist act. They didn't grow, or they were not born to be racist. Somebody instilled that. So you should rather be advocating for people to become conscious parents so that they don't instill that kind of, in their kids. And I think that's
just dropping bars, man. Like, this is it. Gosh, you're speaking my language.
I mean, that's why we share the same brain cells.
This is like, oh my goodness. Like, yes. Like, this is it.
You just want people to get it, but they don't get it.
Oh man.
It's frustrating. You see a reaction, like anytime I meet people who are, if I was on the receiving end, I'll be having the same reaction. I'm like, finally somebody gets it, because like people are so lost. I'm like, I am not saying these problems don't exist, and so if maybe we need to go and protest, we shouldn't. I'm just saying that those are just like things that would happen once now. How many times do you go for protest? Once a year. What are you going to be doing with the other 300 and something days?
Yes. What are you going to be doing with it? Like, we've so much focus on what the world will do and stuff like that, and we underestimate the power of what we can do.
There's this really famous quote that I like. I think it's by Carl Jung, but I'm not quite sure. He says that the world is full of irrational people, and you can't control them, or you can't do anything about it. You can only control your own irrationality. And it's like that is what you should be focused on. Yourself, the people, and how you impact people. You are telling the politicians to change the constitution. They should do they should build the roads. They should, provide like best, waste management systems. But why are you still putting the garbage on the ground?
Yeah.
Like kind of flooding that happened in Ghana recently.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is not a one-person problem.
Yeah.
This is a two-man problem.
Yeah.
Because I have seen, there was one time I was coming from school and there was this man working ahead of me, and just 5 steps ahead of him was a big dustbin, but he still dropped it. I'm like, you see, sometimes you have to understand that the problem is not even about the availability of a solution. It's the fact that internally people have been shaped a certain way that even when the solution is there, even when the police is telling everybody to do the right thing and the police is holding people accountable, you would still have too many people behaving that way, because where the problem is, we are not starting from that place.
Yeah, we're not going to the roots. We're not going to, and it has to go back to families. Families, like that is where the problem is. Like, if you are not able to protect families, you're not able to keep families together, you're not able to protect that first unit, then every single thing that builds a society will collapse. That is just it. Ruin the family and you ruin the society.
And you know what's funny? I love what you're just saying, because we are, as a community, are the ones that love family.
Yeah.
Family is everything. Family is blood. Family is this. Family is that. But you see, we are the ones that even least consciously try to uphold what family actually means. It's like we just love the performative. So it's like, yes, family is only relevant when there is a wedding and then you get to invite
let's very actually.
Or when you do something and you ask them for help. I think that's the thing. And people even don't ask, what do I also contribute to this family?
Yeah.
And I think for me, I just love what you do. I love your book. I love the way you think about these things, because it's just something I've been, even amongst the people like my friends, and I always try to get to them. You need to understand. So let me just tell you this funny story. I was speaking to my sister who is going to have a baby soon, and she lives abroad, and she was telling me she doesn't get why some white people would get a dog, treat a dog like a human being, and some of them even spend more money on raising the dog. So if you wanted that, why don't you just have a kid? And I told her, if that person, let's say in this situation is a parent, the one who is a parent to the dog, if the person doesn't raise the dog well, the consequences of that will not be severe, because the dog is not going to become a narcissist.
Yeah.
The dog is not going to go become a rapist. They won't become a thief. The most will be they will go around biting people, and that's it.
And then probably somebody will put it down, stuff like that. Yeah.
But the person who is raising a human being, the consequences of if that human being doesn't turn out well, is a lot.
Yeah.
That's why you can have somebody like Adolf Hitler, one person that can have such an impact on the world. So it's that is, and I think that's the thing. The person who is even raising the dog is even conscious about how they're raising the dog compared to the person raising a human being. So I think people don't let us sink in that this is a human being. And I think people sometimes, it's only when you've hit the adulthood and it's all of a sudden they see you as a human being, or when you can do something for them and it's all of a sudden you're a human being. But until then, I don't know what they think you are.
Okay. You see, my wife, before we had our baby, the first time I really knew for a certainty that she's going to be an amazing mother was how she treated our dog. It was with Bones. Bones, we found Bones on the street. It was around Acho. We were driving one day and we saw, and she was the one that kind of suggested that we take him on. He has 2 more. It was we named him Mr. Bones because it was Bones when we found him. It was in a very terrible state. The tumor was just dropping down his jaw. We had to take him for surgery. You need to see his face after the surgery.
And she still wanted a dog.
We took him in. It was even till now, he's still on medication. You know, he's been with us now close to a year.
Because most people wouldn't want to take on that. Especially when
I'm telling you, it's a lot of responsibility. Yeah. She put in everything. Within the first days, she bathed this dog in 2 days more than 15 times. I'm not kidding. I saw what it means to be a mother. In my tribe, we call that abiamo. So iya is just for a person that gives birth to a child.
Okay.
But abiamo goes beyond giving birth to a child. Abiamo is actually what it means to carry that spirit of motherhood. And
our ancestors were smart.
yeah, yeah. And see, in that space, I just knew it that, see, if we have a child, this lady is going to be an exceptional mother. Like, I that is it. English word, we don't have a word for that in English. Like a word for abiamo, as in I need to find
because
something.
Because it is two different things.
Yes.
To have pop the baby out and to actually do
the raising.
Like most of our parents in the African society want to just exert their control based on the first one, which is the one that popped you out.
Yes.
So then they forget that there's a second part of it, you know. And I think just going to what you were just saying, right?
Yeah.
I love it. I love the story you're just telling. I think what you just shared goes to even emphasize more on the discussion we are having, which is the importance of like that stage, that early stage when a child is being formed. Because you see, you can't fight yourself. I always say one of the things I am very empathetic towards is people who are drug users. Because I always say, anytime I've wanted to go on a diet, anytime you want to go on a diet, just see the level of discipline you need.
Tell me the story of my life.
Like, so then I'm like, this is not even something, I mean, of course, we all need to eat, but then there are alternatives to food you can eat without, you know, that to satisfy the hunger.
Exactly.
But look at how difficult it is to even just discipline yourself against the craving of eating like the ice cream, the French fries, the KFC and all of that. So now imagine somebody who is in a situation where now, not only that, they are fighting the fact that the thing is having an effect on them when they don't have it, which is like a severe one. So I'm like, I have empathy towards them. And that's why, like, when it comes to that recovery, I'm like, this is more, you know, it's more of like it's a situation you should sometimes show some empathy towards, because I understand it's as a result of an action that they've taken, but I think sometimes because of that, we close our eyes to show empathy towards people like that, you know. But I mean, again, your wife's story is just like that important, because you can't fight who you are when you have been raised right and you have not even necessarily raised, but when you have grown up to acquire and have those positive, you know, traits that makes a human being. It will just reflect anywhere. Whether you were a parent, and I'm sure she would do the same with other people. So then she would do that with her colleagues, she would do that with her friends, you know, she would do that with her kids. And that's what is important, because, and I'm saying this because there are people that would be good parents, but they would be treating their house helps very badly. And
that is not an abiamo. And that is
not an abiamo, exactly.
So, because it is not about you raising the child that you give birth to.
Exactly.
It is about how you are able to hear other people's cry and show up for them.
And so you see, even for parents, and that's as I even said, for people who would even supposedly love their kids more and then be treating other people, you just even see the relationship between them and their kids. There's this level of dominance they always want to have, because they even feel like the child is an extension of themselves. So then, of course, they love it, but then you see how controlling and see how their parents, the child even relates to them. They don't listen to the child. Because the thing is, like, so you can't help it, because yes, you are showing the child, you are trying to say you love the child. But you see, that's why I'm saying, when it's not in you, it would show somewhere. So even when you are even saying I love this person, and exactly, it will show up in the unhealthy little subtle signs that traumatize the other person who has to experience it, you know. But then you are thinking, oh, I'm being a great person, you know? And I think for me, it's also another thing I'm learning to accept, that sometimes I will be a villain and I don't have to even explain to best the person's bubble, because you are actually the villain, even though in your perspective you are not, because so people only perceive you or experience you through the lens of how they see the world. So if I see the world to be black and white and somebody sees the world to be colored, they can't. And I think for me, going back to the previous question you asked about like the trauma, it's the same thing. I was telling my friend, I was like, I can't trust the world because that trust was broken when I was younger. So you that has had a healthy space to fall and somebody would pick you, you don't mind falling.
Yeah.
Because you know somebody would pick you.
you.
Even when nobody would, and you're not even sure somebody
Yeah.
would. But it's not an instinct to not want to fall
Yeah.
because you know somebody will pick you. But when you fall and nobody picked you and you have to pick yourself and you know that, that's what happens. And I was talking to him, I was like, we're having a conversation about capitalism, and he was talking about how, you know, the billionaires are wicked. I'm like,
Yeah.
what you don't understand is some of these rich people, it's just the inner child of them that's just act or showing up that way.
I'm
You
telling
are seeing a wicked capital. I'm like,
Yeah.
and you see, people like them, they probably have a similar upbringing where
Uh-huh.
traumatized, you know, homes.
Exactly.
And they know nobody will pick them up. And I'm like, but you have to understand that, you see, as a person, the more you have, the more you know that when you fall, you have more to lose.
Yeah.
So then what would you do? Instinctively, you want to make more so you don't fall.
Yeah.
So sometimes when you see somebody's desire for money and there's like money, and we are all saying, but what do they need all that money for? It's not about the money.
Because
not about the money.
and if it's about the money, at the point they will have just been like,
Exactly. I mean,
okay.
there's a point to which we get the money. It doesn't
But
even matter
because
anymore.
there's a wound that
Exactly.
no matter how much money, it is just a
So
covering.
the more you have, the
the
more
whole
you feel
can-
secure.
Yeah, exactly.
So then it's like just a security for them. So I'm
Uh-huh.
like, but you see, the world doesn't understand these things the way we do.
Yeah.
So when we are addressing these issues, we just take it from the surface level. You know, somebody once said to me, the person said, all of these terms we like to use, capitalism, racism, activism, like women
Yeah.
empowerment. Yes, but you see, these are just containers that just house what the actual problems are. Because even when you take away all these things, those
Yeah.
problems will exist.
Uh-huh.
And that is why you realize that these problems have existed one form or another since the beginning of man, and it would continue to exist till we die.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, people are people. People are shaped by their upbringing. They are shaped by their, like their nature. And another thing, there's this psychologist in the US. His name is Dr. Gabo.
Yeah.
Brilliant man. He said this thing. He was like,
Gabo,
you know
I
him?
believe.
Oh
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
He said this thing because like there were experiences I had that when I was sometimes speaking to my siblings about, they didn't seem to be seeing what I was seeing. And so like I read his book and then I heard him speak and he said no two children ever experience their parents the same way.
Exactly.
That thing was such a mind-blowing discovery for me. And it was like, because it's like you think we are having the same experience because we're in the same house.
Yeah.
We observe the same, but no, it wasn't.
Yeah.
Because our temperaments were different.
Different.
Our level of even security or insecurity and sensitivity were different. The parents treated us different because they have an expectation that you are the adult, so you should know better. Even when you're just, let's say, 1 year older, you still know better because you are older.
Yeah.
You are the male child, so maybe you would be treated a
moments
certain
of
way.
grace.
So a
So
man
is that-
doesn't cry.
yeah, ton of
that
stuff.
kind of
Yeah.
Exactly. So unconsciously, no two children ever experience the parents.
same
And then they even said, even if the parents can consistently even show up the same way, by the fact that those two children were never born with the same personality, they cannot. And that's why we always say even twins are not the same. It's because even nature itself will not make you the same.
Yeah.
You can't be the same. So I think that understanding and that awareness is what would allow us to kind of like perceive and understand and be more conscious where we should be addressing these problems from,
Yeah. I saw the movie Shrek. I call myself the Black Shrek. Yeah. I saw the movie Shrek, and I remember that year after I was seeing the movie, and I was like talking with my younger sister, and I was like, oh man, this is one of the greatest movie of all time. Like, gosh, I love this movie so much. And she was like looking at me like, did you see the same movie?
Yeah. It's very different.
And this movie has just gone on to has been like something that I've embodied my life around in a way that I call myself the Black Shrek. It's like my alter ego right now. And for her, it's still like,
I still
okay.
don't get it. I still don't get what you mean. No, I get it.
Yes. Okay.
And I was also like, and that's why sometimes it gets frustrating because when you don't understand that we don't see the world the same, you get put in a situation where you feel like you need to explain, but like you don't. You just need to understand that you can never see the way they see it too because you've not had their experience. So you just have to just let it go and understand that there are certain things that cannot we are past that stage, and that's why the initial stages are, very important. And I think that children are becoming more and more self-aware, probably because of the way our society has been designed now. Back then, if you are 15 years, I always say when we completed high school, the most exciting thing we were looking forward to was braiding our hair. Like now look at the kids of today. And I think for me, I actually fear for our world, and I mean the African society more, because I always say we are a little bit behind the Western world. So if we were conscious enough, we will be looking at them as the blueprint of what not to do. Because like they have gotten to the level where we are seeing them.
Oh my goodness!
So I would
like,
wait.
see, I was waiting for you to land in that particular place, and gosh, you landed.
I landed right there. You know, I'm like, we should be looking at them to know what not to do. But it's like we don't see it. Because like their kids are now showing the things that our kids will not get to. Because they have more advanced things, right? So they are seeing things, you know. So like now in the US, you get people who even have AI as their girlfriend, boyfriend. And like these are some of the struggles they are having with the advancement of technology, for example. I mean, our world, I don't think we've gotten there, but we're going to get there.
Yeah.
And the thing is that unfortunately for us, when it comes, it will go very fast. It will be very quick.
And it will be worse.
It will be worse. It will be worse because at that time it's already gotten to the point where it's spoiled. So it's like from A to Z.
Exactly.
You don't even jump through the other
because
letters.
of the level of traumas and stuff like that.
It makes
the thing is, the people will overdo it. Like over.
And we are seeing signs of it today, right? The overdoing. I'm like, back then when you would go to a high school and ask people what do you want to do. I mean, even though of course it was just a typical African thing, but it's like, I want to be a doctor.
I want to be a nurse.
Now go back and go and ask them.
I want to be a content creator.
You know, and not even like I want to be a content creator in a healthy, sensible way. I'm contributing something valuable to society. No, I'm just going to go there and just ridicule and rubbish myself, you know, and so on and so forth. And you see, there's the thing. You see, kids are the most intelligent stage of human being.
Yeah.
And we don't give them enough credit. The intelligence and not just intelligence as in like the, you know, theoretical intelligence, the emotional intelligence at that stage.
Yeah.
We don't give enough credit to that stage. And for somebody to pick up a language and by the time they grow up, they are speaking it.
Man.
I mean, that should even tell you how much the brain at that stage is, how fertile the brain.
Synapses,
Exactly. I'm like, try learning the language as an adult.
As in 10 years in Ghana, I can't speak 3. My daughter speaks 2 languages, both Ghana and 3.
Exactly.
Like,
and that
I've
thing
not been able to learn any other language as an adult. All the languages I know, I've known them as a child.
Your brain doesn't want to learn anything else, you know. And your brain is also biased at that stage, right?
Yes.
So it has things it's biased towards. So certain things that it naturally doesn't like or feel uncomfortable towards, it wouldn't want to pick it up because it feels. But a child doesn't have those experiences.
Things,
So naturally, it just picks up, or he or she picks up whatever it is that comes. And you know, again, the threshold of what time a parent gets to shape their child is getting less and less because kids are becoming more and more aware when they're not supposed to be. So now you have a 10-year-old that will be saying and knows things that they're not supposed to. So it means that a parent has less and less time to shape their child. You know, there was this man who he said that if you want, you can give your child to me from when the child is born to 12 years. And when I bring the child back to you, there's nothing you can teach the child that will override what I've already taught the child. You know that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Man, I saw that and it freaked me out.
It was freaky when you heard it.
Yes.
Because like it tells you that how urgent and how important this is, and we are not taking it. You know,
that's true.
We are not taking it serious at all. You know.
Now, to the Blac moment question. What your Blac moment is? What is that particular moment that made you become this aware? You know, what are those things that kind of like, you know, shaped it? Yeah. I
think when it comes to career-wise, in terms of like how you can, in terms of, I'm talking about in the material sense of like, because everybody has a desire to have a material, like, you know, possession, which is like a good job and all of that. It's just, I mean, you need to, because like in this economy, of course, you need to. So mine for that came when in 2017. So 2017, I had a chance to join YALI. So it's this US government-funded program, the YALI West Africa. So we had like various participants from different West African countries, about 100 and something participants. We were at Gempa. We were camped there in their dormitories for like a month. It was such an eye-opening experience. Now, the thing that made the difference wasn't even the experience itself, because eventually the experience faded away. Yeah, it was somebody I met, and if she ever sees this podcast or whichever comes first, if I ever meet her again, I am going to say thank you to her, even though she doesn't know what she did for me. So this is what happened. We always had like this round tables we sat at. So it's that thing where you sit at the table in the beginning and you sit there till the end. And there was this lady who sat at the table. Her name was Akosia. She was also in university, and I was also in university, but I was in my first year. She was in her, I think, third year. I met Akosia at YALI. I mean, she was naturally a brilliant person. Like, I remember she was brilliant. But you see, the impact she had on me was getting to the end of the program. Now, I got the impression that she wasn't from a, like a rich home or anything like that.
Yeah.
She was from like a usual average Ghanaian home. But the way she carried herself, the way she spoke, the way she saw the world, the way she perceived the world. And I remember one time, we got a stipend from like the program. And we were all saying, what are you going to use a stipend for? And she said, oh, I need to pay my brother's school fees. My brother is in law school in Legon as well, so I'm going to give it to him. And I was so shocked because I'm like, at that time, I didn't see her to be somebody who probably had, family, expectations on her in that sense. And I don't know whether this was family expectation or this was just her doing it because she just wanted to. I don't know for that. But it was such an impressive act. So now came another question to me. I'm like, well, I was saving money because I know I will never get money like this. So I'm like, I'm saving it for greener, or other things. But she's going to do this. So then I was wondering, like, how do you then make money for other things that you would want to do if you're going to give everything to your brother? So then through a conversation, and then she said, oh, she makes about 5,000 cedis a month. And this was in 2017. And I know even in 2026, 5,000 cedis for average Ghanaian for some people is like quite a lot, right? Yeah. But this was a university student who doesn't have a degree. She was in year 3. Yeah. She's making 5,000 cedis. Okay, then my ears pegged out because I love money. I always say one thing you can never shame me for is my love for money, but in a healthy sense, like not illegal money, not unethical money. I mean ethical, legal money. Yeah. And my ears pegged. I'm like, how are you making money? Because I've been trying to find a way to make money, but it's not working for me. I've been trying remote works and all of that. So I was asking more, and then she was telling me. So at that time there was this internet. I don't know whether it still exists today in Ghana. It's called Busy Internet. She used to write blog posts for them, and they would pay her. She was a secretary for like this lady who, like, I think a virtual secretary. Yeah. This girl had like about 4 or 5 gigs at the same time, and put it all together, she was making 5,000 cedis. Because you see, this is why that thing mattered to me, because it shattered one of the strongest beliefs I had, which was you need a degree to make money. You need a degree to make money. And you see, let me tell you how deep that statement is. When we have attached the relevance to the degree, we fail to see how we ourselves and our skills is what takes us where we are supposed to go to.
Human intelligence!
Because and I see that's the thing. Most people think that the degree is the thing that will take them there. But it's not. It's you and your skills and who you are and how. And she shattered that thing. And I mean, for me, because of who I was, I saw it much deeply than maybe most people would. Because for me, it wasn't just, oh, she's able to get a job without a degree. It was, this girl has been able to build a skill set that allows her to be in those spaces to earn that money. And she's making this amount of money. And this is a girl who went ahead to even give an opening speech to the UN General Assembly. When I tell she's brilliant, she is she's brilliant. But she's brilliant, she's strategic. And you see, there's a thing. All this while, if you had asked me who are my role models, of course, we would have gone with the usual corporate. Oprah Winfrey. But you see, the problem with role models like that, not that you shouldn't, is you as a child, because again, these role models, you are calling them out, because no 60-year-old is calling out role models or picking role models. It's usually when you are younger. The problem is, you see yourself where they are, but your brain would not be able to grasp what it took to get there. The steps it took to get there. But you see, for somebody like this girl, when I had a conversation with her, I could see myself there, and I could visually, because Nana Banama could tell you her story. Yeah, she could tell you, but you see, it's just too much, and she has spent so much time working on it to get to where she is that. To be honest, it will be overwhelming and you won't be able to see. And that is why we always laugh when some rich people say, I started washing plates. Because your brain can't grasp at what point you jump from, I was washing plates to I'm now a billionaire or a millionaire. And it's natural. It's just too far, too worlds apart. So now when you're the one washing the plates and somebody's a billionaire, you can read their books, but you just can't. But when you're looking at somebody who is just 10 steps ahead of you, 5 steps ahead of you, to get there, it's not difficult. So for me, the lesson I learned from her story when she told me what that was, I should probably start perfecting my blog writing, skills, and then do this. And then I asked, because I was also curious, I'm like, but how did you even acquire the skills Because for me, that's how I am. I'm like, if you have something, I need to know how you did it. And that's also another thing. I probably would never even get to sit with Nana and not even ask her this question.
Yeah.
For her to even give me that one-on-one advice. But I could speak to this girl because she was in my circle. She was accessible. I knew her. She was here. I could touch her. So her achievements were things that I could visualize. They were tangible. I could see it. I could, mirror it back to myself.
Yes.
It wasn't too far ahead in the world where I would say, oh, I can't. Because, if she had said she owned, let's say, a publishing firm, there was no way I could have related.
Yeah.
I could have admired it, but it wouldn't have made that impact. But this one did because it was something I could definitely, I could see myself after a year being where she was. So I think that kind of sparked the desire to want to, also do the same. So when I asked her, how did you do it? And she said, I started with volunteering. And you see, this is the thing. Internship is also free. But the problem is the word that is attached to it. You see, internship is done with the expectation that you would get a job. So even if you, the intern, don't go there for that and you just want the skills, they still wouldn't pick you because they assume, based on previous records, that you would expect that. But when you go to volunteer, everybody already has to establish that you are not here for a job, you're not here for anything, you are only here to give your time to the cause. That's it. So that is why when you go to volunteer for courses, nobody is going to be asking you for your CV or whatever. So to get into a volunteering space, it's easy.
Yes.
Just give your time. So you see, it's the same action where you are giving your time and you probably wouldn't be paid anything as an intern, because I tried to do an internship and I was rejected. And that's when I learned that lesson. I was like, it's the same time I'm giving. And I want to, what do I want? I want a skill. But of course, I understand there are people who pursue it with the intention of they want to get a job. But the point being that people sometimes also see that is the thing that is why you won't get an internship and you won't get to build the skill, because they think that you would want a job after, so they won't even pick you to give you the opportunity. But if you go for a volunteering project, they will give it to you because they need the people, right? They need the people. There's no expectation that you get anything from it. So many people, because they know there's no expectation, don't want to go there. So I started at a point. I was also volunteering for 6 different organizations. I was volunteering for an organization in India. They were actually doing something that had to do with disability, people who were blind and all of that. I was volunteering for an NGO in Sweden. They were working on reproductive health. I was in every space you could think of, because at that time I also didn't know what exactly I wanted to. Which space I wanted to be in. So I was like, okay, I'm trying every course, because I naturally gravitated towards social courses. I love that. I love to just help people. So I was like, okay, most social courses also revolve around that. I went with an organization that does education, one that did peace, advocation. Every time I'm everywhere, I was everywhere. To the point my mom was like, you don't have enough money to spend. You're spending that money going, to places, going for conferences, and all of that. You don't the frustration of the money is not enough and you are wasting it on other things that are not, because again, I'm not being paid. But you see, me, I had an agenda. And you see, that was the moment also where because everybody's goal when they go to universities, I want to go and get a first degree. But that day, after that conversation with that girl, and I think that conversation happened on the last day of Yali, when we were about to depart from each other. And I left that program with the things she said and the view she had opened my eyes to show me what was possible. And I don't even think she's even aware how important that moment was to me when she shattered that view that you need a degree to do things like this. I was like, I want to do one in the university, but now I am no longer pursuing a first class, because I naturally have to learn to be able to do well. So I would invest the time, but not as much. Instead, I am going to invest some of my time to build skills. And so I started volunteering. I started working with NGO. I started doing this. I started doing that. When I tell you I was everywhere, I was just everywhere. And at a point, it was overwhelming for me. But I think that there was also the joy of advocating for a cause. Kind of something made it more bearable for me to do that. And you see, at the end of the day, I got to learn from people. I got your confidence even in yourself about certain things, because now you know where your abilities lie. So then that was when I said I was able to drop certain NGOs, because I was like, okay, now I know I've done this. It's not something I want to do. Okay, I work as a marketing, let's say social media, whatever here. I know I can do this. Okay, I'm now learning. See, and now you are learning about yourself through this volunteering project, without the expectation that you would make or hit a big KPI. Because NGOs would not expect that of a volunteer. If you do it, hallelujah. But there is no expectation that there will be consequences if you don't hit that. So it allows you to relax and naturally
fail.
Exactly.
Like
And be reckless and be you take risk and all of that.
Yeah.
So that was what those things, and again, this is what this girl had done to be able to build the skills that she had. And I mean, based on the conversation I had with her, I took the same, path, and that was a defining moment. So of course, like, I mean, now I work in tourism, so like it doesn't really align.
Yeah.
But I always say, for me, I don't go with like a fairy tale. I'm like,
Totally
I was passionate about it. Like, I was not passionate about tourism. I was studying marketing, and then one semester we did tourism marketing. We did an excursion to go to Nzule Zoo. It's in the western region. I was like, oh, wait, so this can be a business. And I think I love my younger self because I was very fearless. Like, when I wanted to do something, I never thought about it. I mean, when you grow older, you become more risk averse. But like that time, like, I want to do this, I'm going to do it. I don't care. I was that kind of a person. So I was like, I want to start a tour company. And then naturally people thought, oh, I'm going to start a tour company with clients in Ghana. And I'm like, no, I'm going to start a tour company and I'm going to have my clients in the US. And then I'm like, do you know anybody in the US? I'm like, no. And I'm like, so how are you going to get it? I'm like, I don't know. I'm going to figure it out. And I figured it out. And for me, I always preach, don't box yourself. You don't box yourself. For me, I understand that Ghana is a place where there are no opportunities. I could cry about it, or I could look out where there are opportunities. Like when I was in university, because of my volunteering, background, I got a chance to go on 2 fully funded programs, one to France and then one to Egypt. Because of that, because now I had the track record, I had the vision to be able to go for programs and it was funded for me. And see, people don't want to put in that work that counts. And I think, for me, as I said, my background and who my dad was, I always know I would never get enough credits. And I think that's one of the things I know used to irk me, but I've learned to not make a big, which is I will never get enough credit for how much I put in what I do. Because people simplify what I have done as because of who your father was. So I remember when I went to France, when I came back, because I went doing our mate tent, and everybody was like, oh, see this lucky girl, doing exams, her dad even took her abroad. But you see, that was like 100 rejections from applications I had put in for programs that I was rejected, and I got 2. So, and I understand that I have to accept it, because I can't do anything about it. And if you sometimes, because it gets frustrating when people don't see what you do. And I think it also makes it hard because when you're the one giving the advice, people think you don't get it. Because they think you're coming from a place of privilege. But you don't get it. So, and I think naturally people have a bias where they would close their ears where they think, oh, you don't get it, you are rich, so you don't get it. And I'm like, sometimes you just need to just listen. But again, you can't go being vulnerable with everybody to tell them about what happened in your childhood or whatever it is. So you just have to just...
So maybe you just put it in a book like this.
Exactly. I don't know if I'm there yet to write a book. I don't know write books. Like, it takes a lot to do this. I don't know if I will be able to. If ever do, you're definitely going to be getting the first copy. That's the defining moment. I think that track record that I got, and I mean, when I had an idea that I would rather pursue opportunities out there, when I was able to go for my fully funded program, I'm like, oh, it is possible, because now I was able to do those 2 things. So I think starting the company, it became less like fearful, because I was like, oh, I was able to do these things. So, I mean, why can't I do that? So, I mean, yeah. And I mean, for me, again, it was more for profit that I started the company. But I think naturally I found a reason, because we started a company in 2019, which was the same year we had a year of return. And, the year of return is for like welcoming like the people who were taken away back. And I think naturally, when you're a people person, you just find you find your goals or your passion wherever you find yourself. So now I'm in a space where I love what I do, because I get to give people something they've lost. And I think I meet amazing people. I get to live through people's experience. It's just like a fulfilling space to be. I mean, I still do my advocacy, but now it's more around like education and like young parenting, not more to the parenting, but more to like the education side of it.
If you are given the opportunity to speak to your younger self, what would be the advice? What would be the lesson that you would love to share with the 15-year-old Rashida?
I think that I will just premise that by saying I think I've not had any regrets in my life, and I think it's one of the things I'm always most grateful to myself and my unconscious self for acting in a way that met what my future self wanted without even realizing it. So I wouldn't say I have regret, but if there's anything I'll tell my younger self, it will more or less be like, give people more empathy and understand that people can't be where you are because people are just born differently. People have been shaped differently. And instead of beating myself up about why people can't see things a certain way, I should probably just extend the grace to them that it is what it is. I mean, there are times where, of course, you want to step into advice, but it's not everything you have to explain. It's not everything you have to advise about. It's not everything you need to have a piece of say in. Sometimes, yes, you might not agree. It's not a good habit or behavior of the person, but just the understanding I have now that so many things just come from that deep rooted self that we have not even become aware of or even had to heal from. And unfortunately for most people, it's not their fault they don't have the level of awareness to, because I believe some of it is nature as well, to even be able to get to the point where they want to even explore that and expand their mind on it. So I think I would not beat myself up for it, because I think mostly that's what I did. I beat myself up. Why once my parents get the point I'm trying to pass across, if they hurt me and I'm trying to tell them they don't get, I'm like, why are they not getting it? And I think you internalize it too much, and I wasted too much time, emphasizing those, things that were out of my control because I didn't have the understanding. I think for me, that would be the advice I would give, to just advise and say, people are born differently, people were raised differently, people have been shaped by their experiences and their personality. People will never see the world and the same experiences as you, even if you're in the same situation. And so there are times where you just need to give them the grace to understand that it's okay not to see side to side. And as like they say, the glass is both half filled and half empty. There's no right or wrong. Yes, it might not again be a great habit or whatever it is that you think you were trying to correct, but you need to also understand that in their version too, you are the one that has a behavior they need to correct. So at the end of the day, if it's not something that has consequences for the society or the individual, or negative consequences, I think there are certain things that we can just let us slide and not beat ourselves up. So if somebody maybe gossips too much, well, let's cut them some slack sometimes, because sometimes it just comes from an insecurity. If somebody is not trustworthy, you might want to sometimes take certain steps depending on who they are, but just try and meet, people where they are. And I think it allows you to be more empathetic towards people. If not, you just probably end up hurting them more, because again, it's an insecurity that is speaking through them, the younger version that has been hurt. And all you do is to root that child in them as well. And if you even want to correct it, probably with that understanding, just start from a level that they can understand and be able to open themselves up to, instead of graduating them from class 1 to tertiary, and then we skip all the steps that would have led them to where maybe I am today with the awareness I have. So I think if I was going to give any advice, that's probably what I would tell my younger self.
People say Egon learning came.
But
I would love to do this. I just love to drop those Yoruba words, those phrases, those proverbs. And I did that in my new book, Rashida.
Is it released yet?
Yes, September 21st, Founders Day. Will be the launching day.
Oh, okay. It's yet to be launched.
Yes, yet to be launched.
I hope I'll be invited.
Of course. So, yes, we'll be having everybody gathered here, but I'm giving people the opportunity to pre-order right now, so it's unless to.
Oh, I would love to do that.
Of course, yes. So,
but you should tell me the meaning of the phrase.
Yes, so it means, the direct meaning is the biggest masquerade and the masquerade dance. So.
That's really brilliant. How did we have that disconnection? Like we oh my god.
Yes, so we've spoken about Rashida, the 5-year-old. We've spoken about our struggles and our evolution and how she's kind of like grown to become this woman. I want you to introduce her now to us.
It can be anything, right?
Yeah, I like that.
So my name is Rashida Pangabu. I'm the founder of Puerto Africa and Shida Travel Tribe, which are both like travel companies. We mostly organize trips to Ghana and then within like Africa. Who am I? I would describe myself mostly by the things I enjoy, but I think those are the things that makes me me. So I love to watch movies. I love to read. I love to swim. I play tennis once in a while, and I love to travel when I'm able to. I think the most important thing about me is my willingness to always like have conversations, and I think I get more excited in a conversation when people are opposed to what I stand for, because I think I just love always learning through people's experiences, because again opinions are usually shaped by our experiences, and so it's like when the person has an opposing view, I would love to ask like, where are you coming from? Tell me about that. And for me, that will be mostly what I'm about. I don't know if there's anything else I'm supposed to add to this.
Yes, something to add. Anybody that is watching this and you're an ADHDer, you should know it straight up. Rashida is an ADHDer. She's on that team.
Oh, I'm the one that would spend one whole day trying to decide what type of socks I should buy.
Right. Oh my. Yes. Before you go, take a second to follow or subscribe wherever you are listening or watching. That way, you'll never miss a conversation that could become your next Black moment. Until next time, stay kind, stay epic. This is the Black Moment. Thank you for listening. We look forward to seeing you on the next one. Oh, sure.
Oshe, Papa. That's Oshe mean.
Thank you. But it's a slang too.
Yeah.
So it's a slang for like saying, well done, you did great. This is cool.
Depending on the context.
Yes, exactly.
Where extraordinary life reveal ordinary moments.